Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all from your respective locations. Once again, you are here on the Avail the Consciences platform. In international news, Russia has just spoken out regarding what happened in Iran. This dangerous strike carried out by Israel on Iranian soil. Russia has deemed Israel's recent actions in Iran unacceptable. Russia is very firm in its position. In this video conference, we will look at what Russia had to say, since we are already familiar with Russia's stance. Russia is much more aligned with Iran, but Russia was also very friendly with Israel. It's important to understand this context. Russia was very much in agreement with Israel. Russia does not want to ruin its good relations with Israel either, but Russia wants to stand for truth and respect for the sovereignty of every state. Before continuing with the video conference, I ask you to share it as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. Give it lots of likes, lots of thumbs up. And always remember to leave a comment with your feedback. According to official information, here is the statement from the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. First, Russia firmly condemns the use of force by Israel against Iran. Russia condemns it. Unlike other countries such as France and others, and the European Union, they simply call for restraint and a cessation of hostilities. They called on all parties to exercise restraint regarding retaliatory measures. And when they say this, they are addressing Iran. It's as if they are telling Iran, don't respond to what Israel has just done to you. However, according to the information, Israel is going to continue striking Iran for several days. The first point is that Russia strongly condemns Israel's use of force against Iran, describing this use of force as a blatant violation of the United Nations Charter. Russia says that Israel has just blatantly violated the United Nations Charter, which means that no matter the friendship between Israel and Russia, Russia will not accept any country in the world violating the United Nations Charter. That is the golden rule. The second point in Russia's statement, Moscow maintains that there is no military solution to the situation surrounding Iran's nuclear program. So Russia as well is in favor of a diplomatic solution. The third point, Russia says this: unprovoked strikes against a sovereign nation, its citizens, its cities, and its nuclear infrastructure are considered unacceptable. Russia says that unprovoked strikes against a sovereign nation, which means that Russia is already stating that Iran did not provoke this strike. If at least it had been Iran that provoked, so that we could talk about retaliation, it would be understandable. But as a sovereign nation, Iran was struck on its sovereign territory, on its cities, on its nuclear infrastructure. Russia says that this is considered unacceptable. We cannot accept it. Already, Russia says that this is a violation of the United Nations Charter. The fourth point, Russia says that Israel deliberately chose escalation. Russia accuses Israel of having deliberately chosen escalation. Israel wants escalation. Israel deliberately chose escalation, increasing tensions and risking a broader regional conflict. Russia accuses Israel of wanting to spread the seeds of regional conflict in the Middle East and Near East. Russia continues. That was the fifth point. The fourth point, the fifth point. Russia says that this attack has undermined and set back international efforts aimed at diplomatically resolving the Iranian nuclear issue. Russia says that this strike has called all efforts into question. And Iran did not fail to point out that because of this strike, Iran, which wanted to somewhat slow down the development of its nuclear program, now finds itself obliged to accelerate and continue. that it is precisely because of this strike that Iran will develop its nuclear program. At the 6th point, Russia says that the full responsibility for the consequences of this provocation lies with the Israeli leaders. This is a warning. It is a caution. The full responsibility for the consequences of this provocation lies with the Israeli leaders. So, whatever consequences may result from this, Israel will be held responsible. Russia is taking the time to state things clear. It's not like the Europeans who speak in vague terms. It's not like the Europeans who refuse to take responsibility. Russia takes responsibility, despite its friendship even, if it's a bit older with Israel. At the 7th point, Russia expects the West to consider the consequences of its anti-Iranian campaign, particularly by putting pressure on the International Atomic Energy Agency. So, what Russia means is that the West has engaged in an anti-Iranian campaign, just like what they are doing against Russian anti-Russian campaign. So, Russia expects the West to consider the consequences, the results of his campaign. What has just happened is the result, is the outcome of the West anti-Iranian campaign. And Russia is putting the Atomic Energy Agency at the center of this issue. So in the 8th point, Russia says that the staff of the International Atomic Energy Agency and Iranian civilians were also put in danger by the Iranian strikes. Moscow, in the 9th point, expects the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency to provide a balanced and objective assessment of the situation in the region. An objective assessment is needed. So, that was the 9th point. In the 10th point, Russia calls on Israel and Iran to show restraint, to prevent further escalation, and avoid sliding into a large-scale war. So this is what Russia is saying. And at the same time, Russia has banned its citizens from traveling to Israel. This is the action Russia has taken. And so Moscow urges both parties to exercise greater restraint. The Russian embassy in Israel has also advised Russian citizens to refrain from traveling to that country. So Russians are prohibited from traveling to Israel. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Russia's immediate reaction. Please share this as much as possible. I'll be back with more news for you shortly. This was the voice of your one and only Samurai.